could potentially do both. There are a lot of successful 35-year-old orthopedic surgeons that have cats and not kids.
I think it's safe to say that Charlie Kirk and Turning Points USA just had a grooming event over the weekend at their Turning Points USA event for young women. This event looked more like a future fascist, future Handmaid's Tale of America award kind of program. That's what it looked like, with a room full of preppy, rich, well-to-do white girls professing their hatred of the gay community, professing their hatred of modernity, matter of fact, some of them even profess their hatred for going to work. And Charlie Kirk seemed to be more than happy to help enhance this thinking that women should not be in the workplace, but should be at home having babies. This is the language that comes directly from this event that I think it's fair to say Charlie Kirk is out here grooming young women to be nothing more than barefoot and naked in the kitchen. That's exactly where they want women. Let's just be real. The patriarchal order seriously has always had a problem with women having enough autonomy and enough authority and enough power to actually be able to live without their assistance. And I did air quotes around assistance. I'm sorry you couldn't see it. But when I say assistance, I mean without being subservient to the patriarchy, to men. Listen in to this question where a student asked about her trouble trying to decide whether she wanted to be a surgeon or a mom. And Charlie Kirk basically said, you got to choose. You can't be both.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kirk. My name is Abigail, and I'm one of the co-presidents of the new TPUSA chapter at Pepperdine University in Malibu, California. My other co-president is right there. She's awesome. So, like these other women in this room, I am very driven career-wise, and my goals are set on succeeding as an orthopedic surgeon. And I have really rarely thought about even getting married, having children, and even going into dating. Like, it's just something that I never really thought about. Would you be able to give me some advice as somebody who so badly wants to succeed in surgery, but to get out of residency fellowship, I'm going to be 30 before I can really focus on myself. So what's some advice for really balancing my career as well as venturing into settling down?
You're going to have to choose which one matters more, and that will be up to you. So first of all, thank you for being involved with Turning Point USA. So here's my piece of advice. Go try to spend a couple days with babies, and if it doesn't move you to want to have some of your own, then go do the surgeon thing. I mean that. If you don't get baby fever being around young kids as a young lady, then you kind of have your answer. But if you're around a young child or a young baby, or like all of a sudden something greater than yourself gets activated, or all of a sudden you feel maybe a prodding by the Holy Spirit, then you got something to think about. But look, you could potentially do both. You could become an orthopedic surgeon and still do that. But there will be a lot of people that says, oh, just put the family thing on hold and put that on hold. I just want to caution you, a reality is that there are a lot of successful 35-year-old orthopedic surgeons that have cats and not kids. And they're very miserable. Most of the radical left is largely being run by childless young ladies, young women that are in their mid-30s that are super miserable on antidepressants, because I think they're
he slid in there just for plausible deniability. I mean, you could be both. You could be a parent and a surgeon, but for the most part, then he just makes up a statistic. He says most orthopedic surgeons, or what did he say? I don't want to misquote him. Let's just play him again.
I just want to caution you, a reality is that there are a lot of successful 35-year-old orthopedic surgeons that have cats and not kids.
Please clap.
And they're very miserable.
No, seriously, please clap.
Most of the radical left is largely being run by childless young ladies, young women that are in their mid-30s that are super miserable on antidepressants, because I think they're missing something.
Yeah, Please clap. I mean, I think Charlie Kirk expected to get an applause from the art. Honestly, I don't see why they aren't applauding, because this is the thinking of the patriarchy, which is being protected at all costs by these white supremacists. It's being protected at all costs by the most powerful people with the most money on the face of the planet. This is what they believe. This is why you're seeing an uptick in this traditional wife meme that's going around, this trope that's going around, where young women, particularly white women, are saying, I don't want to do anything in the world except for be a good wife and a good mother for my family. And they reject any idea of being able to stand on their own. They feel like they have to have a man to be protected, to survive. And well, some of them are even just saying, I just don't want to do the work. So I don't know why this audience full of young women who support the patriarchy would not give an applause to Charlie Kirk, as he said exactly what they believe. Perhaps it was a turning point for some of those people in the audience. I doubt it. I just think they have to take a moment to digest what they've signed up for, and they'll probably just keep going headlong until they end up sounding like this other speaker who showed up at Turning Point over the weekend.
Oh my gosh. Young Women's Leadership Summit, are you ready to see this degenerate, rotten culture that we've been living in get a makeover? Well, you are in the right place.
If you could have seen the expression on her face and the look in her eyes, you would be completely and totally terrified, because, well, yeah, the sociopathy runs deep with this group. The sickness that is spreading around the country, thanks to Turning Points USA. I have to give them credit. I mean, if anyone is responsible for the rise of fascism in this country and the grooming of our children towards fascism, it's Charlie Kirk. I would have to give him. He is one of the most influential fascists on the face of the planet, particularly in this country. He is raising an entire generation of people who think like her, who think like him, who would rather be subservient to the patriarchy than to actually stand up to it. And these are wealthy, well-to-do, influential white folks in the United States of America. I put it like that specifically because these folks, they're just going to go into society and blend in their jobs and their careers, if they actually go get a job and get a career, because Charlie Kirk is telling them to stay at home. But for those who go out and get a career, they will blend in right next to you, in the cubicle next to you. And they'll smile and they will say, oh my gosh, you look so fabulous today. Meanwhile, they harbor some of the most hate-filled, bigoted, and zealotous sentiments that you can imagine.